Cash is trash and cash flow is king. Now everybody's talking about cash flow, passive income. I'm going to share with you through my personalized experience on what cash flow means to me and 3 different categories where we can create cash flow. And I'm going to be very honest with you and very brutal with you, and I'm only speaking from my personal paradigm. I'm only going to speak from my truth. Okay, one of the biggest things about this is understanding how to create cash flow, right? Because what's happening is you're taught to go to school, get a job, get a 401k, and trade time for money. The only way you can make more money is to give up more time. That's it. Get a pay raise, get a side hustle, get a second job. You're going to have to give up time until you start to understand how to make your money free up time. Warren Buffett says it the best. If you can't make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. So there's 2 categories here that I am deep in, and I'm going to share you with the ups, the downs, and I'm going to share with you what I'm heading into the next, I would say probably 9 to 10 years, which I call it Warren Buffett style investing. Now I've made a bunch of mistakes. I've started businesses, I've lost businesses, and I'm going to break down. Okay, so there's 3 main ways you can create cash flow, right? Number 1 is creating a business. You actually create the business. Number 2 is you can buy an existing business, which I'll break that down. And then number 3 is my favorite now. I'm obsessed with dividends. You can invest in someone else's company and create passive. Okay, so there's 3 ways to look at this. Number 1 is you have a business, okay? You can create something. My apologies on my spelling. I have severe dyslexia, so we'll just bear with that. Create something. Okay, create something. You can buy something that was already created, okay? Or you can invest, okay? So the first thing I did is I created businesses. So I had a huge liquidity event in crypto from 2020 to 2022. Well, I think it was huge. I turned 30,000 into high 6 figures. And then I took profit off the table and I created something, okay? I created businesses. So currently right now I'm going to tell you the ups, downs, the ins and outs of this. So we created 6 companies, okay? Sounds fancy, right? Everybody's like, you need 7 sources of income. It's like, you don't need 6 companies, trust me, okay? So we have 3 that are heavy income, I guess I would say heavy income, right? Gross income, okay? And I have 3 that are still in build, okay? Now, the heavy income ones are doing very well. I have 2 7-figure, one's going to 8 soon, and one is 6, sorry, so that's figures going to 7, okay? So I have 2 and 7 figures, I have 1 and 6 figures, one probably is going to go to 8 figures here very soon. Okay, now what I did was, if you watch my other videos, is what I did that was special, what created financial freedom for me, is I went into, and you'll see a whole nother video, is what's Capital DR. Okay, I didn't buy Lambos, Ferraris, I bought cash flow, more cash flow, which I'll break down. I went into assets, more assets, protection, and I created leverage, and I actually multiplied my money, okay? So that's in a whole nother video. But here's the thing, let's go back to this. So I have 6 companies. Do I want more companies? Nope, I don't want to get into more companies because I'm starting to understand this right here, Warren Buffett style investing. Then you can buy a business. They call it an LBO, a leverage buyout, right? There's a lot of great coaches out there teaching leverage buyouts, okay? So probably the 2 best ways to do it. I've never done an LBO. I went through a program and I never actually ended up buying a business. I created business from the ground up, which was the hardest way to do it, right? Probably the 2 easiest ways to do it would be buy someone's business, okay? And one of the easiest, truly passive ways to do it is to get into dividends, okay? So let's go into that. Okay, so you can create a business, side hustle, but here's the reality of this, the brutal reality of this, okay? Having 6 companies sounds glamorous. It's not. It's difficult, it's hard, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of brute force. If people really realized how much it takes to get a company to 7 figures, okay, and how much it takes to become a millionaire, most people, well, that's why 85% of small businesses fail. I think it's 15 succeed, and very few become seven-figure ecosystems, and very few people become millionaires because the brute force it takes to get there. But it's possible. We did it. But the brute force, if you think you're doing enough in your business, triple it. I think I'm doing enough right now. I'm tripling it right now. That's how I build these, okay? So imagine you come down here and you invest after all this brute force is taken care of, okay? You can either buy someone's business or you can get into dividends. The brute force is already done, okay? So there's different types of dividends, okay? We're gonna break that down. I want you to do your own research. I want you to go, type in ChatGPT, dividend stocks, right? Okay, so dividends, we have high risk. Okay. Now these are truly passive. Everybody's talking, that's Warren Buffett style. Warren Buffett makes $1 million a day off Coca-Cola. Look at how much a CEO makes. Warren Buffett probably makes more in a month than the whole CEO makes in a year. Okay, would you rather be Warren Buffett or the CEO? I'd rather be Warren Buffett. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all this income that I'm creating and I'm coming down here and into assets over there, and eventually in the next 9 years, I'll never have to work for money ever again, and nor will my kids, okay? So one is high risk. You got medium risk, then you got low risk, okay? Low risk. Now the key is, boom, DR in my capital strategy. De-risk, de-risk, de-risk. I'm a huge de-risker. I de-risk back into things like Bitcoin and XRP. That's how I'm stacking my Bitcoin and XRP. So high risk, you have things that are like, you can look these up, I'll give you a hint. You have things that are like synthetic option calls where the company is doing options, right? It's in the stock market. They're trading options, right? Some of these are producing anywhere from 20% up to 70% on average. Some of mine are returning 70%, right? But here's the key, that's high risk. So I only risk 10% of my ecosystem, okay? But when I make that passive income every single month and every single week, I de-risk it out into XRP, NP, and BTC. Okay, so I'm making these huge returns over here, and then I'm moving it over here where this is going up over here. I'm all about richest man in Babylon, but I'm only risking 10% because it's high risk. Then you have medium risk stuff. So these return about anywhere from 10 to 15%. These are more guaranteed. You have preferred stocks like Michael Saylor. Strategy B came out with some preferred stocks that give you anywhere from 10, I think they're 8 to 10, and you can get up to 15% in some of these. And then you have low risk. You have things like Coca-Cola, I just mentioned that one. Coca-Cola, I think Apple does dividends, right? You guys can comment down below. So Apple, right, these are like 2 to 3%. Okay, this is per year, per annualized, right? Okay, so would you rather be Coach JB running 6 companies, the stress, the headache, building, the pressure of that type of stuff? Okay, you could go into LBO and you could buy a Coach JB business, right? And you get immediate, so the thing about LBO, you get immediate income. That's pretty powerful. But I mean, they say it's passive. I mean, if you set it up properly, I guess you could, but you still got to manage the business. Or you can be Warren Buffett, boom. And think about it, Warren Buffett just collects checks. That's what he does, okay? So true passive, everybody's talking about passive income, comes from investing in something that's already built, okay? So let's go through that one more time. Everybody's talking about cash flow, okay? We got cash flow, you have businesses, you can create a business, you can get a side hustle going, okay? You can buy a business or you can get into dividends. Dividends is a true passive way to collect checks. That's it. The key is, this is what is a differentiator for me. These checks, I take my checks, I don't buy Lambos, I don't buy houses, I don't buy watches. I buy cash flow, more, or assets that hold value and go up, or protection. This is called richest man in Babylon. That's the key. So you use money to make money. That's richest man in Babylon. Make money, save 10%. Take the 10%, create a brother or sister. I'm taking the brother or sister and I'm moving it into my Capital DR strategy, which is on our YouTube channel here. I'm creating more cash flow. I'm buying more assets. I profit, I put it into protection, I leverage at low hurdle rates to buy more cash flow, to buy more assets. It's called the system, it's called the process. Hope is not a strategy, okay? I have a disciplined system in my financial walk, my spiritual walk, and my physical walk. And this is it. So that's a ways you can create cash flow. So if you're sitting in a job right now, I would highly recommend go looking at dividends. You don't have to go create a side hustle. Go invest in another company with some of your paycheck and start getting weekly and monthly checks. I hope this helps. Warriors, rise, get your shit together.